Good morning, folks. The real Captain Kirk here. It is the 18th of May, day 62 remote. And as Forrest Gump said, that is all I have to say about that. A lot of folks say, why do you say the real Captain Kirk? And I'll say back in the day I was. Some inspiration for how we do year-end weather some 30 years ago is kind of in part from this general. I remember this day actually exactly 29 years ago on this Monday. Back in 1991, the Queen of England was knighting General Schwarzkopf after Desert Storm in our hangar there at MacDill Air Force Base. And around 3 in the morning, he comes in and says, "Good morning, Lieutenant," and we exchange pleasantries. And then he says, "I just want a quick update for the Queen's visit today." And so I said, General, sir, we're going to have the sea fog lifting out. You'll probably have some sprinkles right as she's landing that make it a little bit slippery as she's getting out. But she gets into the hangar there. It'll be turning out to be a beautiful sunny day for the rest of the ceremony. So with that, he says, "Thank you, Lieutenant." And while I'd met him several times prior to this, this was probably the last time I think I met him on active duty. Until about 17 years later, we were on a TV show. Invited me to be on a show of his, a technology show. And I said, "No, I know, General, you don't remember me." And he says, "Well, actually, I do." And so he says, tells me the story about the Queen and reminiscing. And he says, "Let me tell you the rest of the story." So that day, he actually had a big, huge umbrella. And he was already warned by the Queen's entourage to never touch the Queen. That was forbidden. But in any event, as she was getting out of the limousine into the hangar there, she slipped because it was slippery, of course, and almost fell. But thanks to the General, he had the umbrella, and it was probably one of the most photographed memories of all time there at MacDill Air Force Base, as he saved the Queen from slipping and landed her perfectly in the tarmac, and it actually looked like a swan move. So it was pretty profound how it all turned out, even though she almost slipped. Well, the rest of the story was that apparently, when the Queen likes to make scrapbooks, and so on her trip home, she asked her entourage for all the photos, including the ones of the General. And she said, "Oh, Mom, we got rid of all the inappropriate photos because, again, you're not supposed to touch the Queen." In any event, she says, "I want those photos." So this is obviously pre-digital back in the day, prints. So she apparently put some of those photos in her scrapbook. So that was the rest of the story as told to me by Mr. Schwarzkopf some many moons ago. Looking at activity here in the Atlantic here, we have tropical storm number 1, Arthur. It's going to be a fish storm for the most part, may have some impact as it moves just to the east of the Outer Banks. Biggest impact is probably 8 to 9 foot surf from North Carolina points north, even up toward Long Island, New Jersey. We could see 8, 9 foot waves. But prominently just a fish storm as it meanders out there. We'll have to watch it if it should redevelop here, but it looks like it'll just stay out there and fizzle here the next few days. This started actually down in Key West, Miami, a pretty strong depression, and then it became a tropical storm here yesterday. So this is an area of concern. We're very concerned about South Florida, Louisiana, and the New York, Long Island areas as well. So it's a Arthur early start. Kind of had a few early starts here as of late, but this will be a sign of things to come here. So we're very worried about this extremely active and potentially destructive hurricane season here. Again, with that New England coastline, a little bit unusual for us to put that up there, but that looks to be pretty risky. This week, 18 through 24 May, we're about 1.7 Fahrenheit warmer than last year, making 11th warmest in 35 years, above average national precip. Temperatures, rather, a little misleading here, the cool and northeast. We're going to have some good news here, cool start, but warm finish toward the holiday weekend here. Rainfall, dries in 4 years, but still very, very wet, 5th wettest in 35 years. Much of that precip in the Virginia, North Carolina is just because of the high pressure that's going to block Arthur from moving northeast. So you got easterly flow with Arthur, just a lot of moisture there in the Carolinas. So again, 4, 5, 6 inches is definitely possible, even though Arthur is going to stay well off the coast. Looking at the Memorial Day weekend here, Saturday, Sunday, Monday time frame. Again, you see much, much warmer conditions here in the east. So cool start and very warm finish, at least Saturday, Sunday, with much above average temperatures. Overall, we'd say the U.S. is the 5th warmest in 35 years, warmer than last year. Rainfall's 9th wettest in 35 years, wettest in 4. The cool spot's definitely the Pacific Northwest. Again, Memorial Day Monday, we'll have to see. We could get back into that easterly flow from the D.C. to Boston corridor. So anytime we get an easterly flow this time of year in our area, we tend to be on the cool side, but pretty good weekend overall. For the business folks out there, again, we're our whole team here, Billy Dunn, our president, and Rebecca and Jack and Rich, putting out a Q3, Q4 outlook for business. We're going to talk about everything, you name it. Back to school, holiday, hurricanes, how we define the flu season start, favorable holiday period. So again, kind of a free webinar here. Check it out here. There's some links. Any questions, just give us a buzz, and folks will happily set you up for that. So that's tomorrow, 19 May at 11 o'clock. So it should be a lot of good free information there on that webinar. Pretty much they're going to be talking about some of our Power of 1 degree technology, how we quantify the seasonal lift in sales for every degree warmer. oh, there's maybe a 5% increase in tractor sales and bug spray sales and 4% increase in pool sales. So again, they'll quantify all this for both spring and winter categories here. So something to look forward to. One of the things you might see on the call here, I apologize, I probably stole one of their slides here, but just simple things like obviously the world's in an online retail mode for the most part in a lot of areas. So this just shows you the blue is a Google search term called hay fever, and the orange line is actually one of our point of sale for allergy medication. So it's actual point of sale at a drugstore. So it's real sales data. What you see is it's highly correlated. So there's about a 96% correlation between a Google search term and actual point of sale data. So this just means that you can use our Power of One technology to predict seasonal sales a year ahead by week everywhere on Earth. That's what we do for our Fortune 500 clients. So interesting on this allergy, we're going to be talking about a very pretty active allergy season for the fall. We have a warm, dry fall, October, November at least, and that could be a bad ragweed season. So every 1 degree warmer, there's about a 4.3% increase in allergy sales. 10 degrees warmer can be up to 43%. So again, a very active allergy suffering season ahead here as we had a little bit of that here in March, and a little bit of suppressed here with the wetter weather. But fall looks interesting. If you have hay fever and allergies, may not be your fall. So with that, folks, we hope you have a great week. We'll be back here this time next week.